Hello, everyone. My name is Dov Hershkovitz, and this is the Pipeline Authoring 15.2 Kickoff video. And before we begin, just a reminder that during this milestone, we are going to have a week-long of a hackathon. And this is why I've tried to make the list of items, keep it to the minimum for this iteration. So let's dive in. A couple of issues I would like to call out. Issue number one is simulating pipeline creation under condition. So right now, when the our users are writing their pipeline in the pipeline editor, they can validate if the syntax is correct and if the logic of the pipeline that they are writing is correct. But there is no way for them to validate how the pipeline will look like based on the different rules, the different conditions that they write, because each pipeline can behave differently from each other. This is a capability that we have today in the CI Lean tool, but it is very hidden. So what we are trying is we would like to move this to the front center, and we are going to replace the Lean tab that we have today in the pipeline editor with the simulation of the pipeline creation. I'll show you how it will look. So let's assume that you have a pipeline that you're writing in your pipeline editor. So you have the new tab, which will be called validate and will be highlighted by this new banner. And when user will go into the tab, they'll have a call to action button. This one, that they can validate their pipeline. And we are writing that we are going to simulate whatever they include in the edit tab, and we are going to include all the rules, the different condition with only accept and the needs dependency, and provide them with an output of how the pipeline and confirmation if the pipeline will work based on this rule. As I mentioned, right now we are only in the pipeline editor, we are only validating the raw part or the entire pipeline without taking into consideration those different conditions. Yeah, and obviously we'll be able to iterate and add more conditions as we go with different inputs, different variables, and more. So this is just the MVC for this pipeline simulation. The second issue is actually about the JWT token OpenID Connect support. So it's the backend work, but it's a part of a bigger epic. And the OpenID Connect is a standard that is being used across many cloud providers and other third party, and will allow GitLab to authenticate against those providers and retrieve secrets. And the backend work for that, we're actually doing a couple of things in the background. Number one, we are making the OpenID Connect support for the JWT token. And number two, we will allow user to opt in the token for each job. And this is mainly in order to secure the workflow of our users, because right now the token is available across all pipelines and all jobs. And this is not a secure method, because all it takes is one compromised job in order for this token to leak. So the idea is to allow users to opt in for a specific job and say, okay, I want the token to be scoped only for those jobs, because there is no need to expose this token to all jobs across all your pipeline. And lastly, we would like to allow users to configure the audience claim. It is called AUD, A-U-D, and you can actually see the full information in this issue. So allowing users to configure the audience claim is also another method in securing the workflow, because the audience claim is the claim that is on the JWT payload, which is specifying against which third party I would like to authenticate. Without the audience claim, if someone is retrieving your token, they can practically authenticate against any cloud provider they want. So the audience claim is really critical in order to secure your supply chain. So although this tree is actually seems like a lot of work, but it is doable in a single backend issue, and of course it will be followed up by a front-end issue. Lastly, we have several improvements that we would like to roll out for our users around variables. But when we look at all of those issues, we kind of realize that before we'll start implementing those issues, we'll need to do some backend work, which is mainly replacing some of the REST API with the GraphQL. And once we do it, we'll be able to then pick any issue that we want and implement it incrementally and add like this value to our user, incrementally add their value. So some of the issues that we would like to tackle in the future once we'll complete the backend work is using the special character in variable, such as the $sign. This is, by the way, the most popular bug in GitLab that we would like to solve. And two other very popular issues, I think both of them have more than 100 votes, is to retry pipeline with custom variables. Right now, you can only run pipeline with custom variable. You cannot retry pipeline with that. And setting a predefined list when you're running a pipeline, predefined list of variables when you're running a pipeline. And obviously those issues will be follow-ups after we complete the backend work. And that's it. With that said, I'm going to hand it over to Nadia, and she's going to talk about the scope of work for UX. Thank you, and bye-bye.
Hey, everyone. In 15.2, I will be continuing my work on the pipeline components MVC. Our goal is to finish up the solution validation for pipeline components. And the interview is already done, so I'll be working on summarizing the insights and then using them to inform further design refinement. Which leads me to the design issue that I will continue to work on, and it will go through another round of design iteration based on the insights that we get from solution validation. We've been getting some really interesting insights, so I'm very excited to see how we can refine this proposal and get it ready for implementation, hopefully in 15.4, but we'll see how it goes. Other than that, I will be working on some other usability improvements. One of the issues is around improving the behavior of the scroll bar in the pipeline graph. Currently, the scroll bar is hidden at the very bottom of the pipeline graph, which makes it difficult to horizontally scroll on the graph for some of our users. So I'll be investigating this issue. And there's some other carryover discussions that are happening. One interesting issue that I'm working on is to run merge results pipelines automatically when a merge request leaves the draft state. So generally, when a merge request is in the draft state, you want to run shorter pipelines to make it easier for you to iterate on the MR. And then once the MR is marked as ready, you want the merge results pipeline to run so you can make sure that whatever changes you're making, they're actually good and aren't gonna break the production. So yeah, it seems like a lot of users are interested in this issue, and I just want to make sure that we consider other possible options, like adding a setting for this, for example. Yeah, if you have any questions around this work, or if you want to provide feedback on any of this, for example, the pipeline components feature, feel free to jump into the issue and ping me there. Thank you.